Hey bookworms, welcome back to Books and Banter. You know that feeling right when you're browsing at the bookstore or scrolling online and a title just kind of leaps out at you?
Oh, yeah.
Today we are taking a deep dive into one of those books, Detoxify or Die, by Dr. Sherry A. Rogers.
Ooh, that title. It
Right.
grabs you.
It does grab you, and you might think, whoa, it's intense.
Yeah.
And honestly, we kind of did too.
Verse.
Yeah, at first, but trust us, this book is so much more than just a catchy title.
It really is Detoxify or Die. Takes a look at something we're around every single day, but don't really think about too much environmental toxins.
Yeah.
Those chemicals that are in our food and water, even the air.
Right.
Dr. Rogers makes a really strong case that these toxins can build up in our bodies and they impact our health in ways we might not expect.
Yeah, it's not a feel-good self-help book.
No.
This is about the science behind how things in our environment can actually make us sick. And get this, she cites studies from the EPA saying that 100% of human fat biopsies contain harmful chemicals. That means all of us,
Everyone.
no matter how clean we think we're living, we have these toxins in our bodies.
It's true. And what's even crazier is these toxins aren't just in, heavily polluted areas. Dr. Rogers highlights how they're even found in places like the Arctic
Wow.
and remote lakes.
That's kind of scary.
It is. There's an example like DDT, a pesticide that was banned decades ago, is still present in the breast milk of Inuit mothers.
Oh, wow.
It's a real wake-up call that these toxins are everywhere.
So we can't exactly escape these toxins, but what does that actually mean for our health? How do they go from being present in our bodies to actually causing problems?
That's where it gets really interesting. Dr. Rogers dives deep into how these toxins mess with our hormones. They can damage our cells, and they overwhelm our body's natural detox systems.
Okay.
One of the most surprising examples is phthalates.
Phthalates?
Yes, those plasticizers, they're in everyday plastics, and they act as hormone disruptors.
Hormone disruptors.
Yeah.
That sounds serious. What kind of problems can they cause?
Well, think about infertility fatigue, even an increased risk of certain cancers.
Oh, wow.
It's scary to think that something like plastic can have that big of an effect on our health, and it's not just phthalates. Dr. Rogers also talks about pesticides like DDT.
Yeah, I remember reading about DDT and thinking, wait, wasn't that banned ages ago?
Mm-hmm.
So how are we still being exposed to it, and what are the long-term consequences?
So DDT was banned in the US a long time ago, but it's still used in other countries. And here's the thing, DDT and the stuff it breaks down into can stay in the body for decades.
What?
Yeah, so we could be dealing with health effects from exposures when we were kids even today.
Oh my gosh.
Dr. Rogers calls this the total load concept.
Yeah.
So disease often comes from a combo of toxins, nutrient deficiencies, and other stressors that just build up over time.
Okay, now I'm starting to feel a little uneasy.
Yeah.
If these toxins are so common and can stick around for so long, is there anything we can do about it?
Absolutely. That's the best part of Detoxify or Die. Dr. Rogers doesn't just point out the problems, she offers solutions. One of her big recommendations is to eat a whole food diet
Right.
with lots of antioxidants.
Yeah.
Think of antioxidants like little warriors that are fighting off the damage from those free radicals that are created by environmental toxins.
So it's not about living in a bubble and avoiding every single toxin.
Right.
It's about giving our bodies what they need to fight back and detox naturally.
Exactly. It's about taking control of our health by making good choices about what we put in our bodies and how we support our natural detox systems.
Now, speaking of supporting detoxification, Dr. Rogers has this detox cocktail. She talks about what's in that and what makes it so special.
It's a powerful mix of vitamin C, glutathione, and lipoic acid.
Okay.
Those nutrients work together to make your body's natural detox process better, like a super-powered cleaning crew for your cells.
Wait, glutathione and lipoic acid?
Yeah.
Those aren't exactly things you find in your everyday multivitamins. Can you
Right.
break those down for us?
Of course. So glutathione is a strong antioxidant that our bodies make naturally. Think of it like the master detoxifier. It neutralizes free radicals and helps get rid of toxins. Lipoic acid is another powerful antioxidant, and it works together with glutathione to make the whole detox process even better.
So by taking these supplements, we're basically giving our bodies an extra boost to get rid of all those harmful substances we're exposed to every day.
Exactly. And that's just one example of what Dr. Rogers talks about in Detoxify or Die. She also goes into detail about the 2 phases of detoxification and how we can support each phase through diet and lifestyle changes.
Okay, before we get too deep into those phases, I want to go back to something you mentioned earlier, heavy metal toxicity. I know we're supposed to heavy metals like mercury and lead,
Yeah.
but How big of a deal is it, and how can we tell if we have a problem?
Heavy metal toxicity is a big concern, and it's something Dr. Rogers spends a lot of time on in the book. Think about mercury from dental fillings in certain fish or cadmium from pollution. These heavy metals can build up in our bodies over time and cause a bunch of problems from arthritis to heart disease.
So how do we know if we're at risk, and what can we do about it?
That's where testing comes in. Dr. Rogers is a big fan of functional medicine testing. It goes beyond your typical blood work to check different aspects of your health, including heavy metal levels.
Okay, we're definitely going to have to dive deeper into that later on.
Hmm.
But before we do, let's talk about another detoxification method. Dr. Rogers mentions the detox enema.
Uh-huh.
I've heard about this, but I'll be honest, it sounds a bit intense.
It can seem that way, but Dr. Rogers makes a good case for how effective it is at removing toxins from the gut.
Okay.
A lot of our detoxification happens in the gut, and when we're constipated or have gut problems, those toxins can get back into the bloodstream instead of being eliminated.
So the detox enema helps flush those toxins out and stops them from recirculating and causing more problems.
Exactly.
Makes sense. But I'm still not sure I'm ready to try that one. Are there any other less invasive ways to support gut detoxification?
For sure, Dr. Rogers talks about how important a healthy gut microbiome is for overall detoxification. She suggests eating probiotic-rich foods and taking supplements to help create a good balance of gut bacteria.
So it's not just about what we get rid of, but also about creating a healthy gut environment that helps with detoxification naturally.
Exactly. It's all about having a healthy internal ecosystem.
This is all so fascinating, and I'm already feeling inspired to make some changes. But before we get too ahead of ourselves, I want to talk more about those two phases of detoxification. How do they work, and what are some practical things we can do to support each phase?
You're right. Understanding those two phases is key. It's like a well-organized factory in your body, but instead of making widgets, it's breaking down and getting rid of those unwanted toxins.
Okay, I like that analogy. Break it down for us. What happens in each phase?
So think of phase one as the prep work. Your body uses special enzymes to change those toxins into something less harmful to get them ready for phase two. It's like taking a big, bulky piece of trash and breaking it down into smaller, more manageable pieces.
Gotcha. So it's not you're getting rid of the toxins completely,
Yeah.
but it's making them easier to deal with what happens next.
Then phase two comes in, imagine like a conveyor belt, where those smaller pieces of trash are tagged with special molecules that make them water soluble. It basically makes them slippery so they can slide right out of your body through urine, sweat, or even your breath.
So phase one preps the toxins, and phase two makes sure they're packaged up and shipped out.
Yeah.
I like it, but knowing this, what can we actually do to support those phases in our everyday lives?
Now we're getting to the good stuff. For phase one, certain nutrients are key for those enzymes that are working so hard. Think minerals like zinc, copper, and magnesium.
Oh, okay.
You can find those in pumpkin seeds, leafy greens, even dark chocolate.
Read dark chocolate.
Yeah,
Helps with the detoxification.
it does.
Sign me up.
Right. It's all about making those healthy choices enjoyable. Now, for phase two, those tags we were talking about are often made up of things like glutathione, which we talked about earlier.
Right.
But you can also help this phase out by getting enough vitamin C and eating sulfur-rich foods like garlic and onions.
Okay, so just by eating a good variety of colorful foods, we're naturally supporting our body's detox system.
That's the idea.
And that's great to know. But what about those of us who maybe need a little extra help? You mentioned Dr. Rogers' detox cocktail earlier.
That's a great option to give your body a boost, especially if you've been exposed to a lot of toxins or are feeling sluggish. Remember, it combines vitamin C, glutathione, and lipoic acid all-stars in the detox world.
You know, we were talking about heavy metals and how they can build up in the body. What are some ways to address that?
First, you want to try to minimize exposure.
Okay.
So choose fish low in mercury. Watch out for old paint that might have lead and filter your water.
Got it.
But even if you do all that, heavy metals can still build up. And
Yeah.
that's where Dr. Rogers recommends therapies like far infrared saunas.
Saunas. How do those help with heavy metal detox?
Remember we were talking about sweating being a way for your body to get rid of toxins?
Yeah.
Well, far infrared saunas, they heat you up deep inside and make you sweat more. This helps release heavy metals that are stuck in your fat cells so they can leave through your sweat.
So it's like giving your body a deep clean,
That's a good way to put it.
helping those toxins find their way out. But are saunas safe for everyone?
That's a really important question, and Dr. Rogers talks about it in the book.
Okay.
She actually points to studies that show far infrared saunas are safe and even beneficial for people with heart conditions. But of course, it's always best to talk to your doctor before you start anything new.
Good point. I'm feeling so much more knowledgeable about detoxification already.
Good.
But Dr. Rogers also talks about another method, one that some people might not love, the detox enema.
Oh yeah, the detox enema, it's definitely not for everyone, but it can be helpful, especially for dealing with gut problems. It basically flushes out your colon, getting rid of built-up waste and toxins that might be adding to your total load.
While I admire Dr. Rogers' dedication to this topic, I think I'm going to stick to saunas and dark chocolate for now.
That's fair.
But we've been focusing a lot on the physical side of things.
Right.
What about the mental and emotional side? Is there a connection there?
Definitely. Dr. Rogers emphasizes that our mental and emotional health is a big part of our overall health and our ability to detoxify. When we're stressed, we don't sleep enough, or we're just emotionally drained, our bodies make more cortisol, and that hormone can actually slow down detoxification.
So taking care of our mental health is just as important as eating right and sweating it out in a sauna.
You got it. It's all connected. Dr. Rogers recommends things like yoga meditation and spending time in nature to reduce stress and relax, which all help the detox process.
You know, this deep dive has really opened my eyes to how connected our bodies and the environment are. It's not just about avoiding those toxins. It's about creating a whole lifestyle that supports our well-being from the inside out.
I couldn't agree more, and it's empowering to realize that we have so much control over our own health. Detoxify or Die isn't meant to scare us. It's meant to help us understand and inspire us to take action.
Before we wrap up, I'd love to hear what you think is the most important message from Detoxify or Die. What's the one thing you hope people watching this will take away?
For me, it's that idea of total load. It is kind of overwhelming to think about all the toxins we're exposed to, but it's also really empowering to know that we can do things to reduce that load.
I agree. And one of the things that really stood out to me about Detoxify or Die is that Dr. Rogers doesn't just focus on individual health. She connects our own detoxes with the health of the planet.
That's so true. We've been talking about detoxing our bodies, but what about the environment? How does that fit into all of this?
Right, it's a big picture thing.
It is. Dr. Rogers says that by using fewer toxic chemicals at home and in our communities, we're not just protecting ourselves, but we're also making a healthier environment for, future generations.
So it's about being thoughtful consumers, supporting companies that are eco-friendly, and speaking up for change.
Exactly. It's about understanding that our own health is connected to the health of our planet. We can't have one without the other.
I love that perspective. It's not just about what we do as individuals. It's about working together to create a healthier future for all of us.
And Detoxify or Die isn't all doom and gloom. Dr. Rogers is actually hopeful. She believes that if we understand the risks and take action, we can reverse the damage and create a better future.
That's a good point. It's easy to get bogged down with all the negativity about environmental stuff. But this book reminds us that we can make a difference.
We can. It's about taking charge of our health, both as individuals and as a society. It's about building a world where detoxify isn't a life or death choice, but a way of life that's good for us and good for the planet.
Well said. This deep dive into Detoxify or Die has been really eye-opening and inspiring. It's given us a lot to think about and a lot to do.
I think so too. It's a book that sticks with you, it makes you think and want to explore and make changes in your life.
If you're interested in what we've been talking about today and you want to learn more about reducing your toxic load and supporting your body's natural detoxes, we highly recommend checking out Detoxify or Die by Dr. Sherry A. Rogers. It's a game changer.
And remember, taking care of your health is a journey. Every little step you take towards reducing your exposure to toxins and supporting your body's natural defenses, it all adds up.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into Detoxify or Die. We hope you found it helpful and empowering. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel for more book deep dives, and let us know what you thought in the comments.
Most importantly, keep reading and keep learning until next time.